At 4 a.m. on a Tuesday in December, my phone rang. It was the call every mother dreads, but it was also the call that would turn me from a grandmother into a hunter. My son-in-law, Julian, told me my daughter, Sarah, was dead. "She didn't make it, Martha," he said. His voice was flat, cold. "Complications during childbirth. She's gone." I dropped the phone. I fell to my knees. For a moment, I was just a broken mother. But then my training kicked in. I spent 40 years as the head nurse of the busiest trauma unit in Boston. I know how people sound when they are in shock. I know how they sound when they are grieving. Julian didn't sound like a grieving husband. He sounded like a man who had just crossed an item off a checklist. He told me not to come to the hospital. He told me the body had already been moved. He told me to stay home and wait for the funeral arrangements. That was his first mistake. You never tell an ER nurse to stay away from her patient. I drove through a blizzard to get to Mass General. I fought my way past security. I fought my way past his evil mother, Mrs. Sterling, who stood guard like a gargoyle. And when I finally found my daughter's room, she wasn't dead. She was hooked up to machines. She was in a coma, but she was warm. And while I was hiding in the stairwell, shaking with rage, I heard Julian and his mother discussing the plan. They weren't planning a funeral. They were planning a murder. They thought they had 30 days until they could legally pull the plug. They thought I was a helpless old lady. They didn't know I was recording every word. This is the story of how I brought my daughter back from the dead and sent an entire family to prison. Before I tell you what I heard in that hallway, I need to know you are with me. Pause the video right now. Go to the comments and tell me, where are you watching this from? And tell me, if a doctor told you there was no hope for your child, would you accept it or fight it? I'm reading every single comment. Now, let's get to the hospital. The snow was coming down hard in Newton. It was a whiteout, the kind of weather that shuts down the city. I was sitting in my kitchen, unable to sleep. Sarah was due any day. I had my bag packed. I was ready to be a grandmother. Then the phone rang. "Martha," Julian said, "it's bad news." I gripped the counter. "Is it the baby?" "The baby is fine," he said quickly. Too quickly. "It's Sarah. She hemorrhaged. The doctors did everything they could. She passed away at 3:47 a.m. "Passed away?" I screamed. "She's 30 years old. She's healthy. What do you mean, passed away?" "It happens," Julian said. "I have to go. The doctors need me to sign papers." "I'm coming." I said, "I'm coming right now." "No," Julian snapped. Then he softened his voice, but it sounded fake. "No, Martha, the roads are dangerous, and you don't want to see her like this. They've already moved her to the morgue. Please, stay home. I'll call you in the morning." He hung up. I stood there in the dark kitchen. My daughter was dead. My Sarah. But something scratched at the back of my brain. They moved her to the morgue in 13 minutes? I worked in hospitals my whole life. Death paperwork takes hours. You don't move a body 13 minutes after time of death. You let the family say goodbye. You clean them up. He was lying. I didn't care about the snow. I grabbed my keys. I grabbed my old hospital ID badge. I kept it as a souvenir, but it still looked official enough to get past a lazy security guard. I drove like a maniac down Route 9. The wind was howling, shaking my car, but I didn't lift my foot off the gas. I got to Mass General in 30 minutes. I left my car in the ambulance bay, let them tow it, I didn't care. I ran inside. The lobby was quiet. "I'm looking for Sarah Hawthorne, maternity." The nurse typed. She frowned. "I don't have a death record for a Sarah Hawthorne. She's listed in the ICU, room floor 1-2. ICU, not the morgue. I didn't say thank you. I ran to the elevators. 4th floor. I stepped out. The air smelled of bleach and sickness. It was a smell I knew well. I turned the corner toward room 412. And there she was, Mrs. Sterling, Julian's mother.
She was standing in front of the double doors, arms crossed, wearing a fur coat. She looked like she was waiting for a valet, not mourning a daughter-in-law. "Martha," she said, seeing me. Her eyes narrowed. "Julian told you not to come." "Get out of my way, Helena," I said. "She's gone, Martha," Mrs. Sterling said, not moving. "You need to accept it. Making a scene won't bring her back. If she's gone, why is she in the ICU? Why isn't she downstairs?" Mrs. Sterling blinked. Just a split second of hesitation. "They are preparing her for transport. It's messy. You really shouldn't go in there." "I'm a nurse, Helena. I've seen messy." I tried to push past her. She grabbed my arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "Security," she called out. "This woman is harassing the family." A guard started walking towards us. "You need to leave, Helena," hissed at me. "Go home, grieve, let Julian handle his wife." I looked at her. I saw the cold, hard wall of money and influence she used to bully everyone. I knew if I fought the guard, they would kick me out of the building. I would lose access. So I played the game. I let my shoulders slump. I let the tears I was holding back fall. "You're right. I can't. I can't see her dead. I can't handle it." Helena's grip relaxed. She smiled, a small, triumphant smile. "That's better. Go home, Martha. We'll send flowers." I turned around. I walked back to the elevators. I pressed the button. The guard stopped watching me. Helena went back into the waiting room. The elevator doors opened. I stepped in, but I didn't push lobby. I pushed 3. I got off on the 3rd floor. I found the fire stairs, and I climbed back up to the 4th floor. I wasn't leaving. I was going underground.
I cracked the stairwell door open. The hallway was empty. Helena had gone into the family waiting room down the hall. I slipped out. I pulled my coat inside out. It was reversible, black on one side, beige on the other. I put on my old ID badge. From a distance, I looked like staff. I walked straight to room 412. The curtains were drawn, but there was a gap. I looked inside. Sarah was there. She was pale. She was intubated. There were wires everywhere. But the monitor was beeping. Beep, beep, beep. A steady rhythm. She wasn't dead. She wasn't even dying. She was stable. I pressed my hand against the glass. "Sarah," I whispered, "Mommy is here." I wanted to rush in. I wanted to scream. But then I heard footsteps. I ducked into the alcove of the janitor's closet next door. 2 people stopped right in front of Sarah's room. It was Julian, and a woman I didn't recognize, young, blonde, wearing a coat that looked suspiciously expensive. "Is she?" the woman asked. "She's in a coma," Julian said. His voice was devoid of any sadness. "The doctor said it's a locked-in state, rare. She might be able to hear us, but she can't move." "Can she hear us now?" the woman whispered, sounding panicked. "Who cares?" Julian scoffed. "She's a vegetable, Vanessa. Even if she hears us, she can't tell anyone." Vanessa. That was the mistress. I had suspected it for months, but seeing her here, at my daughter's deathbed, or what was supposed to be her deathbed, made me want to vomit. "So what's the plan?" Vanessa asked. "Your mother said—" "My mother is handling the timeline," Julian said. "The hospital policy says that if there is no improvement in 30 days, the family can elect to withdraw life support. It's legal. It's clean." 30 days, Vanessa whined. "But the baby, who is going to take care of the baby?" "You are," Julian said. "We'll move you into the house next week. You'll be the grieving assistant, helping the widower. By the time we pull the plug on Sarah, everyone will be used to seeing you there." I bit my knuckle to stop myself from screaming. They were going to wait 30 days. They were going to let my daughter lie there, trapped in her own body, potentially listening to them plan her replacement, and then they were going to kill her legally. "What about her mother?" Vanessa asked. "Martha?" "Martha thinks she's already dead," Julian laughed softly. "My mother told her the cremation is happening tomorrow, closed casket service. By the time she realizes there's no urn, it'll be too late." "You're going to fake a funeral?" It's not fake if she's basically dead already, it's just early. They walked away toward the elevators holding hands. I slid down the wall of the alcove of the janitor's closet next door. I was shaking, not from cold, from adrenaline. They thought they had 30 days. They were wrong. I had 30 days. I waited until the coast was clear. Then I left the hospital. I sat in my car in the parking garage. I picked up my phone. I dialed a number I hadn't called in 5 years. "Kieran?" I said when he answered. "Martha?" His voice was rough, sleepy. "It's 5 a.m. Is everything okay?" "No," I said. "I need you to wake up. I need you to grab your surveillance gear, and I need you to meet me at the cemetery." "The cemetery? Why?" "Because my son-in-law is planning to bury an empty casket on Saturday, and I need proof." "Martha, start from the beginning." "Julian told me Sarah died," I said, my voice hardening into steel. "But I just saw her. She's alive. They're keeping her on ice for 30 days so they can murder her legally and take her money." Silence on the line. "I'm on my way," Kieran said. "Don't do anything stupid." "I'm done being stupid, Kieran. I'm going to war."
The funeral was held on a Saturday. It was a closed casket. Of course it was, because there was nobody inside. I stood at the graveside, wearing black, shaking with a cold that had nothing to do with the weather. I watched Julian cry fake tears. I watched Mrs. Sterling accept condolences like she was the Queen Mother. I watched Vanessa, the mistress, stand in the back, wearing my daughter's favorite cashmere scarf. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tip over the casket and show everyone it was empty. But Kieran, my PI friend, had warned me. If you blow your cover now, they'll move Sarah. They'll take her to a private facility where you can't get to her. You have to wait. So I played the part. I hugged Julian. "I'm so broken," I whispered to him. "I don't know how I'll go on." "It's okay, Martha," Julian said, patting my back. "We'll get through this. But you should probably take some time away. Maybe go to your sister's in Florida. Seeing the baby might be too hard for you right now." He was trying to get rid of me. He wanted to isolate the baby. "Maybe you're right," I lied. That night, Kieran and I sat in Kieran's van outside Julian's house in Beacon Hill. Kieran had managed to slip a listening device into a flower arrangement that I gifted to the grieving widower. We put on the headphones. The audio was crystal clear. "God, that old woman is depressing," Mrs. Sterling's voice crackled through the speakers. "Did you see her sobbing? Pathetic. She's leaving for Florida on Monday. Then we can move Vanessa in properly." Then the conversation shifted, and what I heard next stopped my heart completely. "What about the other one?" Vanessa asked. "The hospital called again. The NICU bill is adding up." "Shh," Julian hissed. "Don't talk about that." "We have to," Mrs. Sterling said. "One baby is a tragedy, a grieving father raising a daughter alone. That plays well. It gets sympathy. It gets donations. But twins? Twins are a complication. Twins are expensive." I grabbed Kieran's arm. "Twins?" Sarah had twins. She didn't know. The last ultrasound only showed one heartbeat. It happens sometimes. One hides behind the other. "I have a buyer in Connecticut," Mrs. Sterling continued, her voice as casual as if she were discussing selling a used car. "She pays cash, no questions asked, $100,000. She can pick up baby B on Thursday." "Is it safe?" Julian asked. "The hospital thinks we are putting the baby up for closed adoption because you can't handle two while grieving your wife. It's paperwork, Julian. I handled it." I ripped the headphones off. I couldn't breathe. "They aren't just killing my daughter," I gasped, tears streaming down my face. "They're selling my granddaughter." Kieran looked at me. His face was grim. "We have them on conspiracy to commit human trafficking. We can arrest them now." "No," I said. "If we arrest them now, Sarah is still in that coma. The hospital still thinks Julian has medical power of attorney. He could pull the plug from a jail cell just to spite me. I need Sarah to wake up. I need her to revoke his rights." Martha, you have 2 weeks before they sell that baby, and you have 25 days before they pull the plug on Sarah. I know, I said. I'm going back to the hospital tonight.
For the next 20 nights, I lived a double life. By day, I pretended to be packing for Florida. By night, I was a ghost at Mass General. I learned the security shift changes. I learned which janitor left the side door propped open. Every night at 11 p.m., I snuck into room 412. I sat by Sarah's bed. I read her chart. I noticed discrepancies. Dr. Vance, the corrupt doctor Mrs. Sterling had paid off, was charting that Sarah was unresponsive and declining, but the monitors showed she was stable. I talked to her. "Sarah," I whispered, holding her hand, "you have to wake up. You have 2 babies, Iris and Violet." I named them myself. "They are trying to hurt them, Sarah. You have to fight." I played music. I told her stories. I pinched her toes to try and stimulate a reflex. Nothing. Day 25. 5 days left. I was exhausted. I was losing hope. "I'm sorry, baby," I wept, laying my head on her chest. "I failed you. I can't stop them." Then I felt it. A twitch. Her hand, resting in mine, squeezed. I froze. "Sarah?" She squeezed again, stronger this time. I looked at her face. Her eyelids were fluttering. "Come on," I urged her. "Open them. Come back to me." Slowly, painfully, her eyes opened. They were unfocused at first, then they found me. "Mom?" she croaked. The tube was still in her throat, but she made the sound. I didn't call the nurse immediately. I knew Dr. Vance was on shift. If he knew she was awake, he might overdose her to keep her quiet. I waited until 6 a.m. when the shift changed. When Dr. Archer, a kind, young specialist I had vetted, came in, I stepped out of the shadows. "She's awake," I said. Dr. Archer jumped. "Who are you?" "I'm her mother, and before you call security, you need to check her pupils." Dr. Archer checked. She gasped. She's responsive. She's fully conscious." "Listen to me," I said, grabbing the doctor's arm. "Her husband is coming here in 2 hours to sign the papers to end life support. He thinks she's brain dead. He wants her dead." Dr. Archer looked at me, then at Sarah, who nodded weakly. "What do you want me to do?" the doctor asked. "I don't tell them. Let them come in. Let them think they've won. I want them to sign the death warrant while she is watching." "That's risky," the doctor said. "It's not risky. It's justice." I called Kieran. "It's happening. Bring the police. 10 a.m. The room was set. Sarah was propped up slightly, but her eyes were closed. She was pretending to be in a coma. I was hiding in the bathroom with the door cracked. Kieran and 2 uniformed officers were in the room next door, listening via the bug I had planted under the bed. The door opened. Julian walked in, followed by Mrs. Sterling and Vanessa. They were dressed in black, looking somber for the staff, but as soon as the door closed, their faces changed. "Let's get this over with," Mrs. Sterling said, checking her watch. "I have a brunch at noon." "Did you sign the papers for the other baby?" Vanessa asked. "Done," Julian said. "The courier picks her up tonight, cash on delivery." "And Sarah?" "Dr. Vance said he'd prep the injection. We just have to sign the consent for compassionate withdrawal of care." Julian walked over to the bed. He looked down at his wife. "Sorry, babe," he said, 0 emotion in his voice. "But you were always worth more dead than alive. The life insurance alone is going to look great in my account." He picked up the pen from the bedside table. He hovered over the consent form. "Do it," Mrs. Sterling urged. Julian signed his name. "There," he said. "Goodbye, Sarah." "Goodbye, Julian," a voice rasped. Julian froze. He dropped the pen. Sarah opened her eyes. She glared at him with a fire that could burn the world down. "You," Julian stammered, stumbling back. "You're alive," Sarah whispered. "Disappointed?" Mrs. Sterling gasped. "This is impossible. Vance said she was gone." "Vance lied," I said, stepping out of the bathroom. "You, in Florida?" Julian spun around. "I never left, Julian," I said. "I've been here every night. I heard about the twins. I heard about the sale. I heard everything." "You have no proof," Mrs. Sterling shrieked. "She's delusional. She's mentally incompetent." Actually, Sarah said, her voice getting stronger, I'm fully competent, and I revoke your power of attorney, Julian, effective immediately. The door burst open. Police! Kieran walked in, badge raised. Julian Hawthorne, Helena Sterling, Vanessa Parks, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, child trafficking, and fraud. The color drained from Julian's face. He looked at Sarah. He looked at the cops. He tried to run. He lunged for the door. Kieran tackled him. It wasn't gentle. It was satisfying. My baby, Sarah cried out. Get my babies. They're safe, I told her. Officer Miller is picking them up from the nursery right now, both of them. They dragged them out in cuffs. Mrs. Sterling was screaming about her lawyers. Vanessa was sobbing. Julian was silent, staring at the floor, realizing his life was over. Epilogue, 6 months later. I sat on a picnic blanket in the park. Sarah was sitting next to me. She was thin, still recovering, but she was smiling. In her arms were 2 beautiful baby girls, Iris and Violet. Julian got 20 years, Mrs. Sterling got 15. Vanessa turned state witness and got 5 years probation, but she'll never work in this town again. Sarah looked at me. You saved us, Mom. I just did my job, I said, tickling Violet's toes. Nurses don't leave their patients. I looked at the sky. It was blue, clear. They tried to bury us in the winter, but they forgot that we are seeds. To every parent, every grandparent watching this, never underestimate your instinct. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Don't let them push you away. Don't let them tell you it's too late. Because as long as there is a heartbeat, there is hope. And as long as there is a mother, there is a fight. This is Martha, signing off. If this story of survival and justice touched your heart, please like and subscribe to Granny Archive Stories. We protect our own. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had a gut feeling about someone that turned out to be right? Trust it. It might just save a life.